This DVD is to show you how to install our interlocking river rock and square tapered columns. This particular home has 4 posts that we're going to be covering, and it's also got a deck as opposed to a concrete slab. Either way, it doesn't really matter. It just changes your installation procedure a little bit. We have 4 columns on the trailer right now. They're all braced for the transport, and the guys are going to undo them real quick here, and then we'll start installing them. They come from the factory, the River Rock ones anyway, come from the factory stained. These tapered columns, square tapered columns, are going to be painted to match the home, so they need to be, they're just regular gray cementatious colored at this point. They need to be primered and then painted to the house. The guys are unpackaging these at the moment and just setting them on a piece of cardboard so not to scuff up the deck. The River Rock ones didn't have any packaging other than the shrink wrap. The base of the square tapered columns do come with a foam wrapped around them to protect them as they sit next to one another. These are factory installed to where there's a big gap, about 3/4 of an inch. This, you want to unscrew the 3 screws on each side, and then when the unit goes back together, it's tight, and that gives you an ability to drill a new pilot hole, so you're not going through this hole that we've used for shipping purposes. But anyway, disregard these screws. These are not but brass screws. They're not designed for the exterior use. We've just used them for shipping purposes. Measure the opening that you have. Obviously, I would deduct about a 1/4 inch from the measurement. This particular location, they didn't have the trim board on underneath the beam, so we left a 3/4 inch. But a 1/4 inch should be left so as you can get the square tapered column slided over the River Rock column and then caulk the difference. They're taking the measurement on each side, on each corner of each side, so you're going to have 8 marks, 2 on each face, and that, in this particular case, our column is 9 foot when installed, but this particular porch was installed at an 8-foot opening, so we're just cutting it. Now, this is the neat thing about the River Rock. It's your adjustment. In any case that you ever are going to find an installation, you're rarely going to find each post being perfectly the same measurement. Well, you can cut these River Rock columns. They're using a laser at this point to go between the 2 marks on each side, and the laser goes between them and gives you a straight line. It's physically impossible to get a good line, straight line, with a chalk box. You're not going to get the line into the rock, and the rock can make the line, when it's snapped, go to the left or the right. The laser gets in all that undulation and makes for a perfect line every time. Take a Sharpie pen and mark it, and you're ready to cut. Now they're going to take the half column and put it on 2 2x4s, as you can see on the sawhorses. We'll cut this right there in place. Now notice that blade is a regular carbide blade. It's a wood cutting blade. This is a cement product that you're cutting, but it is not going to dull your wood type of blades or tools. It is a composite material. Now, the worm drive saw, to me, is my favorite way. My 2 sons that were with me in the installation prefer the use of a grinder, which is a masonry blade, as you'll see here. But it doesn't have the depth penetration. In fact, after Skylar cuts this first across and down the sides, you're going to see him then follow up with the skill saw to penetrate the depth. Another way of doing it, if you don't have a worm drive saw, is to take and turn the unit over and cut it from the other side. You'll obviously get the valley once it's turned over. But you know, cutting a straight line is kind of a nice thing, so that the River Rock column will sit nicely onto the deck itself, whether it be concrete, brick, or a wood deck like we're doing in this installation. Alright, so they've cut the first, or he's cutting the first column. So obviously the first step is to measure, cut all your columns to where they're going to be the same height. Now they're taking a toe strap, or a tie-down strap, and just cinching together the actual 2 halves to get them to be in a position where you can screw them. Now, I wouldn't snug them up tight. You want about a good 1/8 to 3/16 of a gap, so that you could either get your caulking, or if they're going to be a permanent installation, you can grout them with our texture mix. This particular location is a model home center. It is inevitable that this model home will be either sold or changed out for another one. So this needs to be removable for future and reinstalled at another location. So in this particular application, we're using a caulking to mend the seam area as opposed to a texture mix, which would still, either case, your structure is being held together by these screws. As you can see, they've pre-drilled a pilot hole through the countersink hole that's factory made in the mold. You can see that hole now, and now he's screwing into that. Now that's obviously been pre-drilled because behind that is a flange that's made out of the same material, and it allows you to cinch the two pieces together. That's really what's holding this together. The cosmetic effect of the caulking, or if you choose permanent, a grout, is not so much what's holding it together. It's just a cosmetic seaming, if you will. Notice he's pre-drilling the pilot hole so that the screw can go through easier. And then now they're just drawing this together again. No, he's still pre-drilling the pilot hole. But when he does draw this together with the screw, you're not trying to drive that screw home, because you can drive it through this material. We usually set the adjustable clutch on this at about 14, and that stops you from driving in too much. But notice on this bottom shot here, you'll see the panel on the right suck up out towards the left, or vice versa, the left one's going in. But you're drawing them just perfectly together. Notice the crack there that's between there, the joint, it's about 3/16 of an inch. This leaves you ability to get caulking or grout into the in between the two units. Now that one's done. It is not centered yet. They're just screwing the 4 columns together to begin with. After they're done screwing the 2 halves together on all 4 units, then they will go to the 2 outside columns, and they will center them perfectly on that post. From there, they'll take a line, and then the other 2 in the center will be then lined to match the parallel there. Again, all the holes that you need are countersunk, with the exception of the 2 screws at the bottom that you're going to see them do once we start to lock these down to the deck. We are choosing to use a plastic lumber, if you will. It's like a deck product. It's a 2x2, and what we'll do is we'll put 2 of them on the inside, and we'll countersink from the outside and screw into those 2, and you'll see that here shortly. But again, let's go over now the measurements. I think what I'm going to do is you'll hear me speaking on the actual tape, so I'm just going to hold back for a second here. Now if you can pan in and get these ones right here, see these marks? Tell me when you see just a little bit beyond each one.
Okay.
Right there? Like that's the center. This is 1 3/4 inches, that's 1 3/4 inches, which is the width of that 3.5 inch beam. We
back up?
Huh?
Can I back up?
Yep. We did the same here. And the same over here. Now, we're taking a stick, a straight stick, and we're putting it on both of these marks, these outside marks, and that should be the same plane as this. I'll do it on this side so you can see it. See that? You can still see the black mark there. See the black mark there? And I'm touching the post over here. And then I also did it this way. You can still see the black mark and see the black mark over here. That's centered us now. Another way of doing it is just simply tape measuring. This is 10 inches. This is 10 inches. This is a smaller opening because we cut out some when we made it. So this is 9 3/4, and this should be 9 3/4. That's another way of checking your square. Alright, now we're installing the 2 2x2s on the inside of the seam. As you can see, that screw on the bottom of your screen in the middle, that's the flange side, so we want to be on the opposite sides. These are the non-flange sides that we're screwing these 2x2s down with. Then we'll come from the outside and screw